Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about one of the most powerful moments in your life, the day you choose yourself. This is not just a choice. This is the moment when your destiny shifts, when you take full control over your life, and when everything begins to change. The moment you decide to choose yourself, you step into your true power. Choice is not just about picking an option. It is the acknowledgement of your worth, your desires, and your destiny. Your life is shaped by the decisions you make. When you choose yourself, you align your actions with your purpose and potential. Too often, we find ourselves living lives that are defined by the expectations of others, by society, family, or friends. We allow the world around us to dictate our path, and in doing so, we lose sight of the individual we were meant to be. But when you choose yourself, you break free from these external pressures and take control of your destiny. You stop waiting for permission or approval from the outside world. You begin to realize that your life belongs to you, and you alone have the power to direct it. The power of choice lies within you, and it is through your decisions that you unlock the full potential of who you were created to be. To choose yourself is to recognize and embrace your own value. Far too many people live their lives thinking they are not good enough, not worthy enough, or not capable enough to achieve their dreams. But the truth is, every person has intrinsic value that comes from their unique gifts, talents, and purpose. When you choose yourself, you are acknowledging that you are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. You are worthy of living a life that aligns with your deepest desires and dreams. It means that you are no longer willing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. In this moment, you stop living for the approval of others and you start living for your own fulfillment. You begin to make choices that honor your true self, that take you closer to the person you are meant to become. Choosing yourself also involves embracing who you truly are, your true identity. We live in a world that constantly pressures us to conform. We are told who we should be, what we should do, and how we should look. But when you choose yourself, you free yourself from these external definitions and start to live authentically. It is only when you embrace your true self that you can fully tap into your potential. Choosing yourself means accepting your strengths, your flaws, and your uniqueness. It means understanding that you don't need to fit into anyone else's mold. The world may try to tell you who you should be, but when you choose yourself, you declare that you will be who you were always meant to be. The day you choose yourself, you begin the journey of breaking free from limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs, some empowering and some that hold us back. Many of us have been conditioned by our upbringing, society, or past failures to believe that we are not good enough. But the moment you choose yourself, you step into a mindset of possibility. You begin to recognize that the barriers you have been facing are often self-imposed. You are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your circumstances. When you choose yourself, you start to believe that you are capable of achieving more, of going further than you ever imagined. It is in that moment of choosing yourself that you find the courage to challenge your old beliefs and replace them with new ones that empower you and push you to reach higher. Another powerful aspect of choosing yourself is the courage to set boundaries. Many of us struggle with saying no. We say yes to things that drain us, to people who use us, and to situations that don't serve our purpose. But when you choose yourself, you realize the importance of setting healthy boundaries. You recognize that your time, energy, and resources are valuable, and you can no longer afford to give them away to things that don't align with your vision for your life. Saying no is not selfish. It is an act of self-respect. It is the acknowledgement that you cannot pour from an empty cup. By choosing yourself, you honor your own needs and make space for the things that truly matter, things that align with your purpose, your growth, and your well-being. Choosing yourself is also about taking full responsibility for your life. No longer can you blame external circumstances or other people for where you are in life. The moment you choose yourself, you take control of your own narrative. You understand that you are the author of your story. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions to start. You begin right where you are, using what you have. You stop blaming the past for holding you back and instead start making intentional choices that propel you forward. Taking responsibility for your life means that you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, and you start seeing yourself as the creator of your destiny. Everything changes the moment you choose yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, and even the people you attract into your life will shift. When you align yourself with your true purpose and begin to honor your own worth, the world around you begins to respond. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will now appear, and the obstacles that once stood in your way will no longer seem as insurmountable. It is in the act of choosing yourself that you tap into a level of power, clarity, and confidence that transforms every area of your life. Your decisions, your actions, and your mindset will no longer be dictated by fear, doubt, or external expectations. You will begin to make choices that reflect who you truly are and what you truly want. As you step into your true power, everything begins to change. Your life becomes a reflection of the person you were always meant to be. To choose yourself is to embrace who you truly are, beyond societal expectations and external pressures. Many people spend their lives trying to fit into molds created by others, often losing sight of who they truly are in the process. From a young age, we are taught to conform, to meet certain standards, to behave a certain way, and to follow specific paths laid out by society, family, or culture. We are told that success looks a certain way, that happiness is found in certain milestones, and that fulfillment comes from following a prescribed script. But the truth is, these external definitions of who we should be often conflict with our authentic selves. When you choose yourself, you break free from these limitations and begin to honor the person you are always meant to be. Embracing your identity means accepting your uniqueness, your strengths, your quirks, your passions, and your purpose. It is about understanding that you were created with a particular set of gifts and talents, and that you have a role in this world that only you can fulfill. Your identity is not determined by what others think of you or by the standards imposed upon you. It is an internal truth, something that resides deep within you, waiting to be expressed in the world. When you choose yourself, you stop trying to be someone you're not, and you start to live in alignment with your true nature. You stop seeking approval from others, and instead, you seek approval from the only person whose opinion truly matters, yourself. For so many, the desire to fit in and be accepted by others can be overpowering. It is natural to want to be liked, to belong, and to be seen as successful in the eyes of others. However, this desire often leads to a life of compromise and self-denial. People conform to careers, relationships, and lifestyles that are not true to them, simply to meet the expectations of those around them. But this only leads to feelings of emptiness and disconnection. It is when you choose yourself that you start living authentically, no longer making decisions based on what others think or expect, but on what resonates with your own heart. Choosing yourself is not an easy journey. It requires a deep level of self-awareness and the courage to stand in your truth, even when it may not align with the norms around you. It requires letting go of the fear of rejection, the fear of standing out, and the fear of failure. It means being willing to walk a path that may not be understood by everyone, but one that brings you closer to your purpose and fulfillment. Many people are so afraid of being judged or criticized that they silence their true selves. They shrink, they hide, and they deny who they really are to fit into a box that society has created for them. But when you choose yourself, you decide to be unapologetically you. Even if it means standing apart from the crowd. Each one of us is born with a unique set of gifts, perspectives, and experiences that shape who we are. These qualities are not random. They are part of our design, and when we embrace our true identity, we tap into the power of our individuality. We recognize that no one else can fulfill our unique purpose because it is ours and ours alone. This understanding gives us a sense of purpose and clarity, allowing us to move forward with confidence and a deep sense of fulfillment. Choosing yourself is also about accepting and loving all aspects of who you are. It is easy to embrace our strengths, our talents, and the things we do well. But it is equally important to embrace our weaknesses and imperfections. We all have flaws and struggles, but these do not define us. They are simply parts of our journey. When you choose yourself, you accept the full spectrum of who you are. You understand that your worth is not contingent upon perfection, but on the authenticity with which you show up in the world. You become comfortable in your own skin, no longer seeking to change yourself to fit someone else's ideal, but instead embracing the fullness of who you are. It's in this space of self-acceptance and self-love that we begin to tap into our true potential. Our confidence grows, our purpose becomes clearer, and the decisions we make align more deeply with our authentic selves. When we choose ourselves, we create lives that are more fulfilling because we are living from a place of integrity. We are no longer pretending to be something we are not, but instead we are fully embodying the person we were always meant to be. Our actions are no longer driven by the need to please others, but by the desire to honor our own truth. When you choose yourself, you embrace the uniqueness that you bring to this world. You understand that your path is not meant to mirror anyone else's. Your life is not meant to look like someone else's version of success. It is meant to be a reflection of your inner truth. And when you embrace that truth, when you step into your true identity, you find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. Opportunities that align with your purpose will begin to present themselves. The people you meet will resonate with your energy and your vision. You will attract what you are, an authentic and empowered individual ready to live fully in their purpose. Choosing yourself is an act of honoring your own journey, your own story, and the gifts that you bring to the world. It is the ultimate act of self-respect, because when you choose yourself, you are choosing to live authentically and unapologetically. You are no longer living in the shadow of others, but standing fully in the light of your own truth. This is the power of embracing your identity. Choosing yourself means liberating yourself from the limiting beliefs that have kept you small. Every one of us carries beliefs that have been formed throughout our lives. Beliefs about who we are, what we can achieve, and what we deserve. These beliefs, while often unconscious, shape our actions, our decisions, and ultimately our lives. The problem arises when these beliefs are limiting. They act as invisible chains that keep us confined, preventing us from stepping into the fullness of our potential. When you choose yourself, you decide to break free from these constraints and transform the way you think about yourself and the world around you. At some point in our lives, we've all been conditioned by external forces, whether it's family, culture, education, or even our own past experiences, to adopt beliefs that are not necessarily true. We are told that success is only for a select few, that failure is to be feared, or that we are somehow not enough. These beliefs get ingrained in our minds, often without us even realizing it. And they begin to dictate our lives. They create a narrative that we live by, a narrative that holds us back from chasing our dreams, embracing opportunities, and truly living a life that reflects our deepest desires. But when you choose yourself, you make the conscious decision to challenge and dismantle these limiting beliefs. You start by recognizing that just because you've believed something for a long time doesn't make it true. For years, you may have told yourself that you're not good enough, not smart enough, or not deserving of success. But when you choose yourself, you begin to see these thoughts for what they are, simply old, outdated beliefs that no longer serve you. You realize that your true potential is not defined by the limitations you've placed on yourself, but by the unlimited possibilities that lie ahead. One of the most powerful aspects of choosing yourself is understanding that you have the power to transform your mindset. Limiting beliefs are not fixed. They are malleable and can be replaced with empowering thoughts and attitudes. The first step in this transformation is to recognize the beliefs that are holding you back. Take a moment to reflect on the beliefs you hold about yourself and your capabilities. Are they empowering or limiting? Do they encourage you to take bold steps toward your dreams, or do they keep you stuck in a cycle of fear and doubt? Once you identify these limiting beliefs, you can begin the process of rewriting your internal narrative. You can replace thoughts of, I can't, with I can, and I'm not worthy with I am deserving. This shift may not happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you can reprogram your mind to focus on what is possible rather than what is impossible. It's about changing the language you use when you speak to yourself, recognizing that your words hold power. When you choose to speak life into your future, your mindset begins to shift, and the world around you starts to reflect that new way of thinking. Fear and doubt are often at the core of limiting beliefs. Many of us hold ourselves back from pursuing what we truly want because we fear failure or rejection. We convince ourselves that it's safer to stay where we are, even if we're unhappy or unfulfilled, because the unknown feels too risky. But when you choose yourself, you acknowledge that fear is simply a part of growth, not something to be avoided. Fear will always be present when you step outside of your comfort zone. but it does not have to control you. Instead of allowing fear to dictate your actions, you begin to see it as a signal that you are on the right path, the path that leads to growth, transformation, and success. Choosing yourself also means letting go of insecurities, the feelings of inadequacy that make you believe you're not enough or that you don't deserve to succeed. Insecurities are born from comparison, from measuring your worth against the success and achievements of others. But when you choose yourself, you stop comparing your journey to someone else's. You recognize that your path is unique and that the success of others does not diminish your own potential. You stop measuring your value by external standards and start measuring it by the worth you place on yourself. You begin to see that your unique qualities, experiences, and perspective are what make you valuable in the world. As you let go of these limiting beliefs, you open up space for growth, for expansion, and for the possibility of becoming the person you were always meant to be. You stop playing small and start playing big. You stop holding back, and instead you step into your power. You start believing in your own abilities, your own potential, and your own worth. And in doing so, you create a life that reflects this new mindset. A life full of opportunities, success, and fulfillment. The key to overcoming these limiting beliefs is not in waiting for external circumstances to change, but in changing the way you see yourself. When you choose yourself, you take responsibility for your own growth and transformation. You no longer wait for someone else to validate you or for external conditions to align before you act. You understand that the power to change your life lies within you. By changing your beliefs, you change your reality. The moment you decide to let go of the doubts, fears, and insecurities that have held you back, you open yourself up to a new world of possibilities. Your life becomes a reflection of your empowered mindset, and everything that once seemed out of reach suddenly becomes possible. Choosing yourself means freeing your mind from the shackles of limiting beliefs. It is a declaration of your worth, your potential, and your ability to achieve greatness. The moment you let go of the doubts and fears that have held you back, you take the first step toward living the life you were always meant to live. Choosing yourself also involves the courage to say no to things, people, and situations that drain your energy and hinder your growth. For many, saying no feels difficult or even uncomfortable, but it is one of the most empowering acts you can undertake. We live in a world that often values being busy and accommodating others. There's a pervasive pressure to please people, to always say yes, to be available at all times, and to prioritize everyone else's needs above our own. But the truth is, constantly saying yes to others can lead to exhaustion, resentment, and a disconnection from your own goals and well-being. Choosing yourself means finding the strength to say no when necessary, to protect your time, energy, and emotional health. Saying no is not selfish. It is an essential act of self-respect and self-care. It's a declaration that your time and energy are valuable, and that you are committed to protecting your peace and prioritizing your own growth. When you choose yourself, you acknowledge that you are not responsible for fulfilling everyone else's expectations or carrying the weight of other people's needs at the expense of your own. Saying no is about setting healthy boundaries that honor your own values, needs, and goals. It is an act of self-preservation, ensuring that you have the space to focus on what truly matters to you, whether it's your personal well-being, your passions, or your purpose. Too often we overextend ourselves out of guilt, fear of disappointing others, or the desire to be liked. We agree to commitments that don't align with our true priorities, or we continue to invest time and energy into relationships or situations that drain us. But the cost of this constant giving is high. It leads to burnout, frustration, and a sense of disconnection from our own dreams. When you choose yourself, you give yourself permission to say no to the things that no longer serve you. You make a commitment to protecting your energy, and in doing so, you create the space needed to nurture your own growth and progress. Saying no can also mean saying no to certain behaviors or patterns within yourself that keep you stuck. Sometimes the greatest barrier to growth is not external, but internal. We may find ourselves saying yes to habits or negative thought patterns that limit our potential. These might include self-doubt, fear of failure, or perfectionism. By saying no to these self-sabotaging tendencies, we reclaim our power and step into the version of ourselves that is capable of achieving great things. When you choose yourself, you stop tolerating habits and thoughts that hold you back, and you start making decisions that support the highest vision for your life. One of the most profound aspects of choosing yourself and setting boundaries is that it teaches others how to treat you. When you say no in a respectful but firm manner, you communicate that your time, energy, and peace are not negotiable. This sets the tone for how others will engage with you. People will start to respect your boundaries and understand that you value yourself enough to protect your space. Far from isolating yourself or appearing selfish, setting boundaries and saying no allows for healthier, more respectful relationships where you are not constantly overburdened or taken advantage of. Saying no also requires courage. It often means disappointing others or facing the discomfort of someone else's reaction. The fear of conflict, judgment, or rejection can be powerful forces that prevent us from setting boundaries. We may worry about how others will perceive us or whether they will still accept us if we don't say yes to every request. But choosing yourself means having the courage to face those fears and do what is right for you, even if it causes temporary discomfort. When you make the choice to put yourself first, you build the resilience and inner strength to deal with whatever consequences come from saying no. Over time, you will realize that the discomfort of saying no is far less harmful than the resentment and exhaustion that come from saying yes when you really mean no. Saying no also means you are saying yes to something far more important: your purpose, your health, and your growth. Every time you choose to say no to something that doesn't align with your goals, you are making space for something more meaningful. Perhaps it's the time and energy to invest in a personal project, the ability to focus on your career, or simply the mental space needed to relax and recharge. Saying no is a powerful act of choosing your priorities, aligning your decisions with your long-term vision, and preserving your peace of mind. It's not about being rigid or unkind. It's about honoring yourself and your journey and making choices that support your well-being. As you grow in your ability to say no, you will begin to notice the positive impact it has on your life. You will feel more energized, more focused, and more aligned with your own path. You will begin to attract the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences, ones that truly resonate with who you are and where you want to go. By choosing yourself and setting boundaries, you create a life that is not dictated by external demands or the expectations of others, but by your own vision and purpose. The courage to say no is essential for personal growth and well-being. It is an act of self-respect that allows you to protect your time, energy, and emotional health. When you choose yourself, you create the space to live intentionally, to pursue your goals, and to nurture the relationships and opportunities that truly matter. Saying no is not an act of selfishness. It is an affirmation that you value yourself enough to prioritize your peace, health, and purpose. And in doing so, you begin to live a life that is true to who you are, one decision at a time. When you choose yourself, you take full responsibility for your life. This is a powerful and transformative decision because it shifts your mindset from a passive observer to an active participant in the creation of your reality. For far too long, many of us wait for external circumstances to change, hoping for the right time, the right opportunity, or the right person to come into our lives to make everything better. But the truth is, waiting for outside forces to determine our happiness and success leaves us at the mercy of factors beyond our control. Choosing yourself means letting go of that dependency and taking full ownership of your own path. It means accepting that your life is in your hands and that you alone have the power to shape your future. The moment you choose yourself is the moment you stop playing the role of a victim. You stop blaming your past, your circumstances, or other people for where you are in life. Instead, you recognize that your current reality is the result of the choices you've made up until this point. This realization can be both liberating and empowering. It means that no matter what has happened in the past, you have the ability to create a different future. It's not about denying the challenges or obstacles you've faced, but rather about taking responsibility for how you respond to them. You understand that you are not defined by your circumstances, but by how you choose to move forward. Taking responsibility for your life requires honesty and self-awareness. It involves looking at your life, your relationships, your career, your health, and your finances. And acknowledging that you are the one who holds the power to change any aspect of it. When you choose yourself, you recognize that the decisions you make today will determine the life you live tomorrow. This means that if you are not satisfied with certain areas of your life, you have the power to make different choices that align with your desires and goals. You stop waiting for permission or hoping for things to fall into place. You start taking intentional, deliberate action to create the life you truly want. Taking responsibility also means understanding that you cannot control everything around you, but you can control how you respond to it. Life will continue to throw challenges your way. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and unexpected changes. But when you choose yourself, you stop allowing these external events to control your emotions or dictate your actions. You understand that you have the power to choose how you respond to adversity. You can choose resilience over despair, optimism over pessimism, and action over stagnation. You learn to rise above your circumstances, knowing that your mindset and choices determine the outcome, not the events themselves. Furthermore, choosing yourself means taking responsibility for your own growth and development. No one else can do the work for you. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you must take responsibility for the journey. This involves committing to continuous learning, self-improvement, and personal accountability. When you choose yourself, you invest in your own growth, whether it's through acquiring new skills, expanding your knowledge, or working on your emotional and mental well-being. You recognize that personal development is a lifelong process, and that the more you invest in yourself, the more equipped you will be to handle whatever challenges come your way. Choosing yourself and taking responsibility also means letting go of the excuses and justifications that keep you stuck. It means accepting that the time to make changes is now, not someday when the conditions are perfect. Too many of us hold on to excuses like, I'm too busy, I don't have enough money, or I'm not good enough. These excuses keep us from stepping into our full potential. But when you choose yourself, you commit to moving past these barriers. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because you realize that there is no such thing. The perfect moment is the one you create by taking consistent, purposeful action. You take responsibility for your life by refusing to let fear, doubt, or procrastination stop you from living your dreams. When you take responsibility for your life, you also understand that your actions have consequences, both positive and negative. This level of accountability means you no longer play the blame game. You recognize that your decisions, whether good or bad, have shaped the life you're living now. And while it can be uncomfortable to take full responsibility for mistakes or missteps, it is also incredibly empowering. By owning your past choices, you free yourself from the grip of regret and guilt. You begin to see that mistakes are opportunities for growth, not sources of shame. This mindset allows you to move forward with clarity and confidence, knowing that every choice you make from this point on will take you one step closer to the life you desire. The day you choose yourself is the day you take control of your future. You stop letting life happen to you and start creating the life you want to live. You set clear intentions and take focused action toward your goals. You become the architect of your own destiny, knowing that you have the power to build the life you envision. This shift from passive to active is what allows you to live intentionally. You no longer drift through life hoping for things to change. Instead, you take purposeful steps each day to align your actions with your deepest desires and values. Your choices become deliberate, and your life begins to unfold according to the vision you've set for it. When you choose yourself, you take full responsibility for your happiness, success, and growth. You understand that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but the creator of your reality. By taking control of your life, you open yourself up to endless possibilities and begin to live with intention, purpose, and clarity. You realize that the power to change your life has always been within you. The moment you decide to choose yourself is the moment you take charge of your future and begin to create the life you were always meant to live. The transformation begins with you. Your life will not change until you change your approach to it. We often look outside ourselves for the changes we desire, waiting for circumstances, people, or events to align in our favor. But the truth is, transformation starts within. It starts with a decision, a shift in mindset, and the courage to take ownership of your own life. When you choose yourself, you are taking the first step in becoming the catalyst for your own transformation. This is where it all begins. The moment you recognize that the power to change your life lies within you, not in the hands of others or the world around you. Everything in your life is a reflection of the choices you make. Whether consciously or unconsciously, the decisions you make each day shape the life you live. If you want to see a change in your life, you must start by changing how you approach life itself. Your thoughts, your actions, and your beliefs are the foundation of everything you experience. When you choose yourself, you are making a conscious decision to break free from the patterns and behaviors that have kept you stagnant or unfulfilled. You are choosing to live intentionally with purpose and clarity. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or waiting for someone to give you permission to change. The transformation begins the moment you take responsibility for your own life and commit to making different choices that align with your highest potential. Choosing yourself is a powerful act of self-awareness. It forces you to take a hard look at where you are and where you want to be. It requires you to examine your habits, your relationships, and your environment. Are they helping you grow? Are they aligning with your goals? If not, then the decision to choose yourself becomes the turning point. By choosing yourself, you decide to make changes that reflect who you truly are and who you want to become. This is where transformation happens, when you take ownership of your life and begin to make decisions that serve your purpose and your future. When you choose yourself, you unlock your potential in ways you never thought possible. You begin to tap into the power and strength that has always been within you, but that you may have been ignoring or suppressing. The moment you stop waiting for external validation or circumstances to change, you realize that the key to unlocking your potential is within your own hands. Your mindset shifts from a place of limitation to one of possibility. You stop believing that success is for someone else or that greatness is out of your reach. Instead, you embrace the belief that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The transformation starts with the internal shift of knowing that you are worthy, you are capable, and you have everything you need to create the life you desire. As you unlock your potential, doors that were once closed begin to open. Opportunities that you once thought were out of reach start to appear. You will find that as you change your perspective, the world around you begins to change as well. This is the power of choosing yourself. It shifts not only your inner world but your outer reality. When you begin to show up for yourself, when you take ownership of your choices, the universe responds. New relationships, new opportunities, and new possibilities begin to flow into your life. This is because your energy changes. When you choose yourself, you send a powerful message to the world that you are ready for more, that you are worthy of more, and that you are willing to take the steps necessary to create a life of purpose and fulfillment. Your decisions will change your world because your world is shaped by you. The way you choose to think, act, and engage with the world is what creates your experiences. If you want to see transformation in your life, you must start with the decisions you make. Every small choice, every step you take toward choosing yourself has the power to create a ripple effect that transforms every area of your life. The more you choose yourself, the more your world begins to reflect the life you desire. No longer are you a passive observer of your circumstances. You become the active creator of your reality. The journey of transformation is not always easy. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to face challenges head-on. But when you choose yourself, you build the resilience and strength needed to overcome obstacles. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Transformation is not a destination. It's a journey. And it starts the moment you decide that you are worthy of change, worthy of growth, and worthy of creating a life that reflects your true potential. When you choose yourself, you become the architect of your life. You stop letting life happen to you and start designing the life you truly want. The transformation you desire will not come from waiting for the perfect circumstances or hoping for someone else to make things happen. It begins with you. The decisions you make today shape the life you will live tomorrow. By choosing yourself, you take control of your future and step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The transformation begins with you, and it starts the moment you make the decision to choose yourself. It's a decision to break free from old patterns, to embrace your potential, and to create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and growth. The world around you will change, but it all starts within you. The moment you take responsibility for your life and choose yourself, you unlock the power to transform everything. And as you walk this path, you discover that the life you once dreamed of is within your reach, because your choices have the power to create the future you desire. In conclusion, the journey of choosing yourself is not just about making a decision. It is about stepping into your divine purpose and becoming the person you were always meant to be. When you choose yourself, you unlock a power within you that has been waiting to be awakened. You acknowledge your worth, embrace your identity, break free from limiting beliefs, and make the courageous decision to live intentionally. You take full responsibility for your life, knowing that you are the creator of your reality, and that the world around you is shaped by the choices you make. Remember, your life will not change until you decide to change the way you approach it. It all begins with you. It starts the moment you choose to honor yourself, to rise above the noise, and to pursue your purpose with passion and conviction. You hold the key to your transformation, and as you choose yourself, you open the doors to possibilities you never thought possible. The power to create the life you desire is within you, and the day you choose yourself is the day you take control of your destiny. Let me remind you, the life you live today is the result of the choices you made yesterday, but the life you live tomorrow will be determined by the choices you make today. Choose wisely, choose boldly, and choose yourself. For in that choice, everything will change, and your world will be transformed. You are not here by accident. You are here by divine design, with a purpose to fulfill and a legacy to leave behind. So step into that power, walk in your purpose, and watch as your life begins to reflect the greatness that has always been within you. The transformation begins now, because you chose yourself.